Hi Leo, welcome to your February 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more information. Alright, as far as what we have in front of us, we have a Celtic cross spread as always, and then we have some oracle cards we'll take a look at after that, and also a mudra card. So there's plenty to get to. Getting started with the main situation, we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Eight of Cups. So, for some of you, Wheel of Fortune, for one, is Jupiter energy, and Jupiter is actually in Capricorn, which is your sixth house. And then this is actually a Pisces energy here. And this energy in particular usually to me represents leaving something behind and looking for something more fulfilling. So, if we look at these two energies together, this could just be saying that this month you actually get the green light to leave something behind, possibly a job that maybe you're not finding very fulfilling. And if this is pointing to timing, given that this is the first 10 degrees of Pisces, I would say it'd be towards the end of February. And more particularly, it might be when you have the new moon in Pisces, which will be a few days into Pisces season, because it's actually going to be sextile Uranus, which will be in your 10th house of career. So, as far as timeline, if that's what you're thinking about, like for most of you, I feel like this is something that's not brand new. This is something that you've been waiting on for a while, just maybe waiting for the right opportunity to let you leave one job behind for another. But yeah, that's what I'm feeling timing wise. It'd probably be around that new moon. Just keep in mind that we will have Mercury in retrograde during that time too. So, if you do change jobs around that time, make sure you're double checking the paperwork from the old place and the new place just to make sure everything's straight there. For others of you, this could just represent any area of life really where, you've wanted to leave something behind, you felt like it wasn't fulfilling you to a certain level, and now for whatever reason, something takes place this month where you actually feel like you have the green light to make that move. In the challenger obstacle position, we have the Hermit. So this can be as simple as what I was saying, as far as when I was saying just make sure you double check all the paperwork. If you do make any kind of big move, just to make sure everything's squared away, since we will have Mercury in retrograde. For others of you, this could just be saying that, maybe this is something that you've really been looking at rather deeply and taking your time to make sure it was the right decision for you. So, for example, even if you've been in that Eight of Cups energy for a while, feeling like you're ready to move on and looking for something more fulfilling, this might just be saying you made sure you had all your ducks in a row and waited for the right time to actually physically make the move. And given that this is Virgo energy, which is your second house, and Virgo's the natural ruler of the sixth house, this is another indicator to me that for most of you, this is going to be related to work and finances for you. But of course, again, be other areas of life as well, like a romantic relationship, friendship, you name it. But that's what I'm seeing there. And the foundation position, we have the High Priestess, the Three of Swords, and the Queen of Swords in reverse. So the High Priestess for me is usually a card that represents Pisces energy. So again, we could just be looking at a timeline here saying that when we enter into Pisces season towards the end of February, that might be when you're actually addressing all of these things. But the Three of Swords is Libra energy, and so is the Queen of Swords in reverse. So this could just even be saying that maybe this was around the time of Libra season when you might have decided that you did need to move on from a situation, right? And maybe that you were just, again, waiting for the right timing to actually make that move. And you might have felt like you were done wrong in some kind of way because of the Queen of Swords being in the reverse. Maybe even dealing with an air sign that you felt was being dishonest with you. This is a Libra, but it could be any air sign if it's an actual person that we're looking at. Trying to see what else comes to mind here. I had something else in my mind for a second and it already slipped, but hold on, let me see if I can get it back. Oh, this actually can be about communication too. So maybe this is something that you've held in for a while. you've been making sure, like, really relying on your intuition, right? And really trying to get in touch with how you felt about a situation emotionally. Because Libra is your third house of communication. So maybe you're just waiting on the right time to to confront someone maybe and tell them, hey, I feel when you did X, Y, Z, that was wrong. You know what I mean? It could be a bunch of different situations, but yeah. And then given that this is in reverse too, and we're going to have Mercury in retrograde, it could be pointing to that as well. So maybe it could just be giving you a bit of a warning to make sure your communication comes across clearly so you can avoid creating a situation like this as well. So just something to keep in mind there. In the past position, we have the Six of Cups. So this can just point to maybe this was a on again, off again type of connection for those of you who this was more of a romantic relationship, or maybe just someone that you did break up with, and maybe you'd recently gotten back with them, right? Maybe you decided to give it a second chance, and maybe things might have been going well for a while, but now you're coming to realization that, okay, you know what? I just don't really see myself being fulfilled in this connection anymore. So that could be what the Eight of Cups situation is about, where, you could be coming to the realization that you do want to leave it behind. And as far as timing goes, this could have been back in the time of Scorpio, since this is a Scorpio energy. And also, that was the last time Mercury was retrograde, too. So, could be some indicator of that. In the present position, we have the Page of Swords. So, this could be you preparing to communicate to someone, right, regarding this decision of yours, but not being quite ready yet. Um, what I say with the page is that it's always that one foot in, one foot out energy, and we could see that with their stance, right? And if we look at the way they're holding the sword, they don't look fully confident in that. So it could just be saying that you know, you are ready to communicate it, but you're not feeling quite confident regarding whatever it is. So, like I said, for those of you, some of you could be you're leaving a job behind, others of you could be a relationship, friendship, you name it. So, this could just be you preparing to communicate to someone, and you might at least initiate the conversation over social media first, because I always point out that to me, those trees almost remind me of that Facebook F. So, that could be what's at play there. In the near future position, we have the Three of Wands. So, excuse me, this could just be pointing to the timing thing we were talking about here, saying that maybe, you've put in the work regarding something. Again, if this is trying to leave one job for another, right, maybe you're just waiting for a new offer to come in, and that's what's been going on. If that's the case, seeing the Wheel of Fortune with that Eight of Cups, it looks like the offer would come in at some point this month. Like I said, just keep in mind that you're double checking all the paperwork and everything. Mercury retrograde doesn't necessarily mean you refuse to start something new. It's just that you want to be careful everything's straight when you enter into a new situation like that, especially if you consider, let's say you applied for the job 2 months ago, right? If it comes around during the Mercury retrograde, it's not fully something new. It's just that, that was a full process and it took a while. But yeah. Um, but yeah, either way, for me, this is a Aries energy, but I view it as a combination of Mars and the Sun, where it's like, you've put in the work and now you're just waiting to reap the rewards from that work. So that could be what's at play there. In the position of your influence in a situation, we have the Two of Pentacles. So this could just be saying that at least in some way, shape, or form, you're still unsure as to whether you do want to leave or not, right? And that could be what the Two of Pentacles is representing, a bit of an indecisive energy. And again, since this is Capricorn energy, that could definitely be, again, pointing to what I was saying, that for a lot of you, this is going to be around work and finances. Trying to see if anything else comes to mind with this. And maybe for some of you, this is saying that you might have already started a second job, right? And, you've just been trying to ease your way out of the first one. And this could be the month where maybe maybe you started to get enough money from the second job to where you can make that decision. So maybe that's what the Hermit was pointing to for some of you, where just financially it wasn't the right move at the time, but now you're getting to that point where you can make the move. In the environment position, we have the Magician. So this is an energy here that points to, just manifestation in general. So this can be someone in your environment. Again, even though it is in the upright, I would say keep this in mind that if you are entering into a new job or a new agreement of some kind, given that there is Mercury retrograde, just keep in mind that, you might be dealing with someone who's a bit flashy and they might be able to present something to seem like it's better than it really is. So just something to keep in mind there. And for others of you, this could just be saying that, the work you've put in, like we were saying, the Three of Wands energy, this could be paying off this month for you finally, and you actually get that forward movement that you've been hoping for. In the environment, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Ace of Wands, the Seven of Wands, and the Hierophant. So Ace of Wands represents wanting a fresh start, so we've already seen that and we've discussed that energy already. Seven of Wands is actually a Leo energy, and it represents, usually standing up for yourself, usually successfully so, against any kind of challengers or competition. So maybe this represents you getting a job offer above the other candidates, for example, or possibly if you do leave a work environment behind, since the Hierophant is Taurus energy and that points back to your 10th house of career and social status, this could just be saying that you're hoping to be able to defend the decision because maybe you might feel a little guilty about it for whatever reason. But, you're hoping that when the time comes, you'll be able to defend the decision to leave and move on to something else, right? So that could be what's at play there. And in the outcome position, we have the Emperor and the Hanged Man. So, interesting energies here. This is actually the major arcana card for Aries, and then this is another Pisces energy for me. So this could just be saying that, again, maybe you get an elevated status by the time we get to Pisces season, because again, I feel like this is more of a timeline than anything. And this could also be pointing to a timeline as well, because Mars will be leaving, since Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars will be leaving Sagittarius and moving into Capricorn, which is your house of work and daily routines. So this could just be an indicator of timing again, saying that once we actually get into Pisces season, that's when you actually be able to make that move that you're trying to make. All right, moving on to the Oracle cards. First we have Peace. There's the artwork, and the number is 23. Okay, it says freedom from attachment, radical acceptance. The Oracle's message. It doesn't get any better than this. A quiet mind, a heart fulfilled, freedom from want, and the soul satisfaction. The way to peace is through radical acceptance. Everything in your world is exactly as it should be. Harmony is beautiful. Enjoy it. So interesting message there, and I would say that's probably, you might not feel that way until after that Wheel of Fortune energy kicks in, because like I said, we do at least see there was some kind of heartbreak and disappointment that you guys might have went through in the past, and we do see that Eight of Cups, which represents, you do want to walk away to something more fulfilling, but it looks like at some point that energy will shift in a positive way for you guys in the month of February. Oh, and actually, I can't forget the fact that there's actually going to be a full moon in your sign in February too. So that there could be some significance for that timeline too, where maybe that's also when you decide to finally make that move. Somehow that totally slipped my mind for a minute, but yeah, there you go. The Oracle's message, the relationship message, rather, says, when two people are in true alignment with one another, they have an innate harmony between them. They are as two perfectly tuned instruments playing together. Sometimes it's impossible to tell who is who. Peace is yours, and it is to be savored. So I do have to say, I didn't necessarily pick up on too much of a relationship vibe, other than, like I said, for some of you, this may actually be more around the connection that you are deciding to leave. So maybe that could be what's going on. Maybe you did meet someone new, and maybe you're trying to leave an old connection behind because of that. But again, I feel like the relationship theme is probably the least likely one of the scenarios we did discuss. I feel like this is more finances for most of you. But for those of you who are in a relationship dynamic, that could be what that Two of Pentacles energy is pointing to. I do have to at least mention that. All right. The prosperity message says this is one of those times when you're capable of clear vision about your work and how you create your prosperity. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You are called by a presence to step into your power. Just being is enough, for you are in peaceful harmony with spirit and it shows in your work. So you're called by a presence to step into your power. Makes me think of the Emperor and the Hangman energy that we see in the outcome. So maybe that's what all this is revolving around too. All right, and moving on to the next oracle deck. You guys actually got two cards that came up there. First we have Turkey Spirit. It says give with gratitude and grace. There's the artwork, and the number is 61. Okay, it says, Turkey Spirit's message for you is that you always have the potential for manifesting a rich reality, for the turkey represents generosity and a celebration of abundance through giving to others. Give freely without expectation, and you shall receive, for the manifestation of abundance is happening right now. Align with it by sharing your good fortune with others, whether you give money, loving guidance, the gift of listening, or kindness in any form. Immerse yourself in the flow of generous abundance, being a channel for Turkey Spirit and a desire of Spirit to see all beings experience the blessing of plenty. Give with gratitude and grace from a wellspring of love and compassion, knowing that Spirit will respond by giving you all that you need in this moment and all moments to come. So an interesting message there that does sound like it's going back to the Wheel of Fortune energy, so something to keep in mind there. And then the next message you had was Starfish Spirit. It says, open to infinite possibility. There's the artwork, and the number is 59. So that one says, stretched out on the beach, the starfish opens fully to the rays of the sun, to the power of potential. As you look out toward the horizon, do you open up to infinite possibility? Spirit is the source of opportunity beyond your wildest imagination and ensures endless possibilities are available. At this time, Starfish Spirit urges you to stretch past the limits of your everyday perception and comfort zone to dream of bigger things and imagine with even greater hope and faith, for miraculous potential is shining down on you. Feel it, bask in it, and open yourself to be filled with inspiration. This is a very fortunate sign that Starfish Spirit has come to remind you of your infinite potential. So definitely a pretty positive message there too, and that makes me think more of like the Magician energy, but hopefully you guys got something positive from that as well. All right, and the last thing we have is a mudra card for you guys. So the mudra you guys got for this month is the Dharmachakra mudra. That's it there, and the keyword for it is auspiciousness. Here's some info on it. Okay, under benefits, it says opens the chest, facilitates deep breathing, benefits the heart and lungs, balances inner and outer aspects of life, spiritual and worldly, serves as a window through which we can directly touch the inherent unity behind the veil of duality. So, that sounds like something that you guys feel you would benefit from. I'll put the name of that mudra in the description as well. We'll wrap up there, guys. I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.